This is the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com, and we're grateful for all of our partners, sponsors, associates, affiliates, family members, and friends who are literally chimed in with us on today. We are always honored when we are able to pull in and have some special guests on the line with us, and putting all fun aside. I'll tell you, me and Jillian we have had some fun this morning, and now Joy done got on board and she done backed her up, and Tramika done got on board and she done backed her up. I'm out. I even tried to play a song I did way back in and it didn't work. So with that being done and or said, we're just gonna go ahead and move forward and do what it is that God has simply blessed us to do, and that's welcome these young ladies to our Broadcast Network Global Media Ministry family. Once again, I'm Pastor Kevin, feeling good, music sounding blessed right here on the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast network. Before I do that, before I introduce these young ladies, I want to do something just a little different. I want to go, and because I just played this a few minutes ago, and I want to do it again because I need you guys to really, really, really understand what it is that we're doing and why it is that we're doing it right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. So I want you young ladies to sit tight while I do what it is that I love to do, and that's jam for Jesus, okay? So I want you guys to sit tight. We're going to go ahead and do what we do right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, here it is. The video that I just aired, and I'm airing it again just for you right here on the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast network, GMAP1.com.
All we need is love, love. 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 That's my song, y'all.
Girl, me too. You know what? I think that song kind of helped us get on the map a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it did.
Yep.
God, Mommy, I like that other song that you guys did.
All right, hold up. Y'all still there? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
You know, I feel like I really should have got in right there on the all we need is love part.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I should. All we need is love. Love. I think I should have got in right there. Really, I'm serious. Yeah. All right. All right. You know what? I'm done. I'm done. All right. With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, we thank God for your presence here on today. Please help me welcome this awesome, outstanding gospel music ministry combined with three young ladies titled Esther. God bless you, ladies, and welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi.
Amen, amen, and again, I say amen. Why don't we take time out and, of course, let each and every one of you introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and tell us where you are from. It's okay. Speak up.
Okay. We all waiting, anticipating. Who's going to say it first?
All right, Jillian.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
So I am Jillian Baskerville, and actually I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow. Okay.
And I am a part of this fine group that you are speaking so highly of this morning.
Amen. Amen. All right, Joy.
All right, I'm Joy Simpson, and I am from Los Angeles, California.
Las Vegas, Los Angeles, boy, I tell you, boy. All right. All right. Now, I want to make sure I say this right. Is it Tramika?
Yeah.
I'm saying it right? Okay. I want to make sure I say it right because I don't want no trouble after this. All right. I want to be on your side. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, good morning. My name is Tramika Richardson, and I'm from Los Angeles, California, but I live in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow. I mean, you guys are You guys are really you spread it out, but you're really. I mean, I'm truly grateful for your presence here today, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I I think I disconnected them. Unfortunately, that was my fault. I pushed the wrong button, and they're gonna get me for this. I know they are, but I pushed the wrong button trying to pull their picture up, and I got to call them back real quick so I can get them back on the line. So let me do this. Let me see if I can get them back on the line real quick, and finish this conversation, because if I don't, they're gonna send the tax man, Mr. Nelson, after me, and I don't want no problems. I don't want them to be getting on me because of my craziness that I'm here doing. So with that being said, it was my fault. I apologize to all of my viewers and listeners on today, and all of those that are here supporting this awesome gospel group, music ministry, combined with three young ladies by the name of Esther. So let me give them a call back and make sure that they understand that it was my fault that I pushed the wrong button, so they can forgive me, and you can forgive me as well for just being openly honest about it. So I'm calling them back now. Let's see if we can get them back on the line real quick right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Hold on a second. Hello.
Yes.
Please forgive me. Please. Can you forgive me? Are y'all still there? Hello?
We're here.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. I pushed the wrong button. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, Jillian, are you there?
Yes. Actually, everybody's here.
Jillian, Joy, and Tramika. I'm saying that right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I ain't playing. I'm for real now. I'm not playing anymore. I'm for real. We're gonna go. We're gonna go ahead. She's very skeptical. Should I answer that? Okay. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I apologize to those that are chimed in to the GMAP Broadcast Network, and of course those that are supporting us via our social media platforms, and those that are here supporting this awesome music ministry combined of three young ladies by the name of Esther. Esther is our special guest here this morning on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We were able to be introduced to them, all of them, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and what was the other one? Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and
San Antonio.
San Antonio. That's what it was, San Antonio. Let me go ahead and show you guys a picture of them. Esther, right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Now, Jillian, I'm going to direct this question towards you. Tell us your position as God brought this together. What did God instruct out of you from the very beginning to put this awesome music ministry together?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, God spoke to me 6 years ago about this group, about doing an all-girl gospel group. And when he spoke to me about this all-girl gospel group, I actually presented it to Tramika. I called Tramika up and I told her about it, and got so excited about it and started talking about what we would like for the group to be, and what kind of standards we would like the group to be as well. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Tramika started calling some people. I called some people, and the group started coming about.
Wow. Well, in my opinion, I think that everything has a root, and the reason I say that is, when we are put in a position to hear the voice of God, what takes place is all of us. I don't know about you, but all of us have basically been through some stuff, you know. And I made a statement this morning that we are exactly where we should be based on the way we live. Now, when this all came together, was there something that you actually went through? Because I don't know how long you have been in ministry, specifically music ministry, but was there something that you were going through that directed you and almost demanded that you begin to listen to the voice of God and put this music ministry together?
To be honest with you, it was prophesied to me about the group. And I never even told the girls this. It was prophesied to me about the group. And I was like, who is he talking to? When it was prophesied to me, I said, no, he ain't talking to me. And I was actually singing background for my godbrother, Chris Bolton, at the House of Blues in California. And was on the stage, and we were singing, and the Lord spoke to me about it. I've been in music ministry, I want to say, for probably 20 years. I'll say that when it comes up to doing like gospel as a praise and worship leader and just being in gospel, period, on a different platform, not being in the choir, meaning. Actually, all of us have been praise and worship leaders, still are praise and worship leaders. And what was I about to say? Our praise and worship leaders. And so we've been actually in music ministry for a long time, as well as prior to the group, we were singing together for other people, doing background singing as well.
Right. Wow, and that's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm excited. I'm really, and honestly excited about Esther, because it was something about your spirit that really, I guess you can say, attracted me to wanting to elevate your presence on the GMAP Broadcast Network. I mean, putting all joking aside, when I connected with you, you were wide open to making sure that this music ministry get exposed to as many people as possible. And I believe in my spirit that you all have. We'll be talking about this shortly. You all have another single coming out soon and very soon. Give him the praise. Let's talk about that real quick, because Joy, don't get it twisted. I'm coming over to you too, and Tramika, I'm coming to you too. All right, but let's talk about Give Him the Praise specifically. How did that particular song come about?
Well, actually, Give Him the Praise was written before the group was even formed or established. We was actually in the studio one evening because we started recording for the group, and Tramika told us, well, how about we just sing the song that was already written, that you had already written, Jill? And we all agreed upon it and went back in the studio and actually re-recorded it.
Wow. Amen. Well, I appreciate you sharing that as well. Now, Joy, I want to come over to you right now, Joy, because I know that you're sitting back in the cut, assuming that I'm not going to ask you any questions, and you're hoping that you can just have your lovely voice on the phone and not really say a whole lot. It ain't gonna happen. I'm pointing all of the questions directed at you now, Joy. I want to find out, how did you know it was your time? I mean, what was it that God spoke to you in your spirit about that said, you know what, it is my priority. It is no longer an option, but an obligation to be a part of this awesome music ministry, Esther?
Well, when the group originally started, I was not a member, and I came into the group to fill in for someone. And I filled in a couple times, and Tramika, who is my god sister, and Jill, who I sang with in other areas doing backgrounds for other people, they officially asked me after a few times filling in, and of course I prayed about it, and I was honored to be asked and be a part. So it was just one of those things, like Jill said, I've been in music ministry for a very long time, either being over a worship team or a music ministry for a church. And so I have always had a passion to sing and to do it in worship and bring people closer to God. And if I could do it in a group that would be able to minister and witness outside of just the four walls, it was a great opportunity. And that's kind of how I became a part of the group.
Wow. Now, I'm going to pose this question. What's so funny? Why y'all laughing at me?
That's me laughing. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
You laughing? Mr. Nelson?
That's Jillian.
Mr. Nelson.
Mm-mm.
Lucky he gone.
You tell Mr. Nelson to stay where he's at.
Yeah, I know that's right. Now, Tremika, I'm going to pose this question at you. I want to, because see, this is, I'm different. I really love being unique with the platform that God has given me. And he has blessed us tremendously over the last 13 years to be able to do what we do. And I'm spontaneous, I'm fun, but I like kind of being different with the style of conversations that we have. This is not going to ever be your typical live on-air interview. Tremika, I got a question for you. What do you believe in your spirit really holds Esther together?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the unity of the Spirit is really what holds us together. We have one common focal point, and that's the ministry that we're called to in this season of our lives. Relationally, we all have a relationship with God, and even in the process of being who we are still individuals that come together for a collective mission. And I think that bond makes us stronger because the collective mission is to lift up and glorify God ultimately. And so it definitely causes us we can't do it with three different agendas. It has to be one.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so we
ma'am.
come together because of this mission. I believe that we're called for a season such as this. And so I believe that's what molds us together.
Wow. Amen. Now, I'm going to jump back over to Jill real quick. Jill, where do you see yourself going from this very moment? I mean, if you had an opportunity to allow God to simply use you to be a blessing to God's people near and far, where do you see yourself with this awesome music ministry, Esther? Where do you see yourself going from this point?
Oh, that's a good question. You have some good questions. Honestly, not just like the four walls, just like Joy said. I see us doing a lot of stuff with, like, I want to say on the platforms, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am going to say it. Some of the platforms just like Mary. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
No, that's not
But
wrong.
I think, I want us to not just stay in the four walls of the church, outside of the church. It's some things that I desire for the group to do TV commercials, in ministry still, as well as talk shows like we're doing now, radio, something beyond of what normal gospel groups do.
Wow. Okay. Well, I really like, and see, I'm doing the way I'm doing this. I'm doing it on purpose. Now, you said something very, very, very important that really touches my heart. Because I'm grateful, first of all, that I don't look like what I've been through. And one of the things that I always strive on is we can't continue to generate an 8-track ministry in an iPad world.
All right now.
And I'm going to pose this question to Joy. What makes you all stay afloat? I mean, how do you feel? I mean, what is it that keeps you guys at the forefront of being a unique female gospel music ministry?
Wow, that's a good question. I believe not saying that other groups aren't anointed, but I believe that when you have a call on your life and you have a call as a group that ordains and puts in place where you need to be. And I believe that we are the voice for this time and this season, and that what we have to offer, not just our sound, but the ministry that is within our individuals of that connect together when we are in ministry together, brings forth an opportunity to share. For instance, I have what my personal ministry is. Shamika has her parts, Jill has her parts, and when we connect together and we plug it in together, it becomes something greater than what we are individually. And so I believe that we have been graced to have favor and have opportunity to be placed in areas and places where God is saying, this is where you need to be. And even though we may often to others may look like just the regular average female group, we aren't the regular average female group. Our look is different, our sound is different, but the most importantly, the anointing and the call that we have by God to be different and to be set apart for such a time as this is what makes us be who we are. Be the Esthers, be the ones who have been preparing and for greater, be the ones who had to step in when those who missed their opportunity by not showing up. And God said, no, I have something for you. That's what I believe we bring to the table and how we are set apart now for this iPad generation, for the generation of people who need people to be real with them. I believe when they come in contact with us, they don't just hear a song, but they hear ministry, they hear testimonies, they hear and see people that are just like them, that have gone through some things, that have come out of the fire and have come out stronger and have been through a journey that most wouldn't understand, but we see you, and that they connect with us and understand that they can too rise up and become who God has called them to be.
Amen. Amen. Tramika, I'm going to pose this question at you. And of course, I know that life in general generates many, many challenges. And if anyone can say, I ain't been through nothing, yeah, I know my English ain't all that great, but if you are sitting there saying, I ain't been through nothing, I want what you have, and I don't think you can give it to me. But we all go through something to get us to a point in life to where we dedicate our life to God. We realize that serving Christ is no longer an option, but it's an obligation. What is it, Tramika, that you went through? And you don't have to get personal, but what is it that you went through that made you realize that serving Christ is an obligation? It's no longer an option. Can you explain that?
It's hard to really respond to that and not be personal. My life has been a journey, I'll say that. And from the age of clarity where I had some understanding, I have seen and experienced God and who he is. At the age of 3, I think is the most memorable moment was when I think my faith was established with God. And in a very personal way, my mother had passed out. And all I remember is what I had seen in church. And I just, faith, childlike faith can move mountains for real. And in that moment, I saw what my pastor had done where he laid hands on a woman in church and she got up. And so I tried that. I just laid hands on my mother. I said, you get up in Jesus' name. And she got up. And from that moment, I think I was forever changed. I believed in that name, Jesus. And the more I got to know more about that name and then that blood and then the sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? It's very personal. You can't answer that and not be personal.
Amen.
It's our experience and the things that we go through. We go from faith to faith with God. Your level of faith be tested at one space, but then you go somewhere else and something like I'm going right now. This very minute, I'm in a very turbulent situation, and I have no choice but to trust that just like when I was 3, and he did it for me then, that at 40 he'll do it for me now. And I'm talking about this very minute. It's very personal. it's your experiences with God. I've had undeniable encounters where I knew it was nobody but Him, and He gives them to me over and over again, just so He can prove Himself to me over and over again.
Wow.
So,
Now, Jill, gosh, you're right, and I apologize because you're absolutely right. That question is almost impossible to answer without getting somewhat personal, and I think I wanted to really say without getting too personal. I think that was it, and I'm going to redirect that same question, if she remembers, over to Joy.
Can you rephrase the question just a little bit, just so I can remember exactly
Absolutely.
what you said?
Well, what it is everybody goes through something. By the grace of God, we don't get we don't get stuck in through. But what is it that you went through that brought you to a point to where you realize that serving God is not an option, but it's an obligation?
Okay. Well, there's so many different instances in my life. I can start with my birth. I wasn't supposed to be here. My mom went into labor but didn't really ever experience labor, and they had to make a decision, save her or save the baby. And my family at that time chose to choose my mom, and God chose us both. And when you learn that growing up, that your life had already, from the moment you were brought into the world, the enemy was already trying to stop you, it makes you wonder what you have inside of you that's so great that the enemy doesn't want the world to see. And at the age of 15, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. One morning I woke up and I couldn't really walk. I couldn't use my hands. I was supposed to go back to school after winter break, and I missed 3 months of school. I had to stay home and go to occupational and physical therapy every day. And I got into a place of very dark, deep depression, started to be introduced to online situations and things like that. And I woke up one morning and I said, God, something has to change. I always believed in God. I always knew God was real. I was always the kid that wanted to be at church. I was really different because I knew who Jesus was. And I knew that same Jesus that I believed in could take me out of this dark place. And I was in service one day. I was about 16. I had just started being able to be out and about. I was walking on a cane at the time. And there was a guest preacher there. And he had said something, you have to have both feet in the door and not one foot out and one foot in. And because of the struggles I was having, I realized I was one foot out and one foot in. And God said, you got to make a choice. You need to make a decision. And I made the decision at that time to completely give my life over to Him, not be ashamed of being who I was, not be ashamed of my insignificant ways. And of course, I struggled and battled with those types of things throughout my life. But I can stand here today and say that I know how deep you can go, and I know how far God's hand can reach you and pull you out. And that's why I choose to serve God. That's why I choose to believe. That's why I know His grace is sufficient. I know His love is unconditional because of the things that I've gone through in my life.
Wow. Whew. Well, Jill, I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer my revised question. Even though you kind of went through it a little bit earlier, I want you to break that thing down without getting too personal. What is it that brought you to a point that made you realize that serving God is no longer an option, but an obligation?
Ooh, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Honestly, I've been thinking about it as Joy and Tramika has been answering the question about certain things that I've gone through. To be honest with you, I think God has put me through certain situations in my life that I had no other choice but to trust Him. My story is not the same as Tramika's nor Joy's, but I think He's put me in situations, or I've gone through certain things that I had no other choice but to trust him. Just going through obstacles in my life, when it deals with relationships, when it comes up to just me personally, of how I just think sometimes, just about myself, thinking sometimes that I wasn't good enough, or if I don't think that I can do this, whatever, but God has always come through and has spoken to me through a prophet, has spoken to me through my mom, has spoken to me through friends, and told me, you can do it. You can do this. I feel like Esther is like a baby to me. When God has spoken this to me, myself, I was like, no, When it was first prophesied to me, I said no. But as time went on and went on and went on, and God spoke to me himself, I had no other choice but to say, okay, God, okay, I hear you. Just like when I became the praise and worship leader, I didn't think, I'm like, me? You asking me to do this? But I think God has put me through certain things, or is trying to make me grow up, I should say, in certain areas of my life where I didn't think that I could, because I didn't think that well of myself to say, oh, I can do this, or I can, I felt like God had to push me in order for me to say, Jill, you can do this. Like, I put these gifts in you. You can do this. You have no other choice but to trust me. Who else are you going to depend on? And in everything that God has put me through, or situations that I've been through, I've had no other choice but to trust him. Have worried, have asked him, how am I going to get through it? But God has got me through it every time. It's a process, but he's got me through it every time. Just like this, when it came to Esther, when we first started at the beginning, we started getting all these calls for engagements, and everything started happening fast. And it went faster than what I expected. I don't know if Tramika feels the same way, but God truly opened up. And I thank God, to be honest, heard his voice, and that I did what he said to do. Sometimes we don't know when we think out of the natural and not spiritual. We be like, we can't do it. Like, how am I going to do this? But God has opened up so many doors that are just unbelievable, wasn't even thinking about. And God is truly still opening up doors. And I just thank him, and I feel like I have no other choice but to trust him. He's also, I think at this moment in our lives, in each and one of our lives, by us all being in 3 different states, God is putting us through a season right now to trust him. It's not just for Esther, but I feel like it's just for us individually to grow stronger. Because right now, a season I know that I'm going through right now is to trust him. Even though I'm like, well, God, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to go through this? Or how is this going to happen? But right now, I feel like in each and every one of our lives right now, I'm talking about Esther, he's putting us in a season right now to just trust him. And he's telling us, I got you. I got your back. Even though I feel like everything's going to happen differently. It might not happen at the same time for us individually, but it will happen at the same time for us as a group, the unity. But I really feel like God has put me through so many things, or relationships or situations, to trust him, and I have no other choice but to trust him.
Amen. Wow. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the brand new single, and of course, we're going to find out how that single can be purchased, where it can be received, where these young ladies can be connected with, whether it be social media, email, phone number, management, record label, whatever the case may be. I want you guys to sit tight. We'll be back right after this right here on the #1 faith-based motivational and inspirational broadcast network, the GMAP Broadcast Network, located at GMAP1.com. That's GMAP, the #1.com. Sit tight. I'll be back in a few.
All we need is love, love. All we need is love, love. All we need is love.
helped us get on the map a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
God, Mommy, I like that other song that you guys did.
What song is that?
Give him the praise.
Oh! You know, we should go do that. We should do that.
We should.
Let's go. Yeah. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together and warmly receive Esther singing Give 'Em the Praise.
Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on and give 'em a praise. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord and serve the Lord with gladness. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord and serve the Lord with gladness. Come on, come on, come on, come on, all ye people. Come on, come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on and give 'em the praise. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Sing unto the Lord a new song and come into his courts of praise. Sing unto the Lord a new song and come into his courts of praise. Worship the Lord in his beauty and holiness and give him all praise. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, worship in the spirit and truth. Yeah. Clap your hands, all ye people. Come on. Clap your hands, all ye people.
Give him the praise. Esther right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Of course, we have this awesome music ministry here with us live on the air. It's Jill, it's Joy, and it's Tramika right here live on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Of course, I am yours truly, Pastor Kevin, feeling good, music sounding blessed, and we are honored, privileged, and blessed to have these three young ladies. First of all, before we dive into how this particular single can be purchased, whether it can be downloaded, viewed in certain areas, and so on, I want to find out. I know you got a brand new single coming out. I know that this single is about to be released soon and very soon. Jill, why don't you tell us about the brand new single that's about to be released?
The new single that's about to be released in February is called Love. Love was actually written after Give Him the Praise when the group was already established. And that's what it's called, Love. As well, we do have another single that's called Amazing. So right now, next month, will be released love.
So it's give him the praise. We got love, and we have amazing. Now, during the course of your ministry being in production and operation and moving forward for God's glory, has there been any particular awards or anything of that magnitude that you guys have received since the ministry have began?
We did. I want to know. Joy, do you remember? Tramika, do you remember?
I didn't hear the last part of the question. It kind of went out on my end. What was the whole question?
The whole question was since the ministry has taken flight, is there is there any awards or any form of accolades or recognition that you guys have received for being the ministry that you are?
I remember we've been nominated for a couple of awards. We did not win. I know last year it was the gospel. It was the one in Texas. I don't remember the name of it.
The Music Excellence Award.
There we go.
The Music Excellence Award in Houston.
Oh, okay. Now I know there's so many awards out there now that it's almost amazing. I've seen the awards process take a dramatic turn lately, and lately it has been more about winning a popularity contest versus winning a true ministry award or just simply getting recognized. See, I guess I'm one here in the Chicagoland area. Instead of putting an awards program together, I did what we call a ministry appreciation celebration. So everybody won. There was not one in particular or one particular group that came out that did not receive an award of appreciation for doing what God has simply blessed them to do. I think a recognition should be more about showing some gratitude, about standing firm for the purpose of God, for doing the will of God, standing on the front line as intercessors for some and having some intercess for you, but trying to do what one of you young ladies said earlier. It's not about I guess you can say it's not about performing. It's more about the ministry. We don't just sing, we minister. And that's why you always hear me talk about music ministry, because God provides us a very unique way of ministering to his people. And music just happens to be Esther's priority to minister to God's people, and we appreciate that. And now, if someone wanted to, I guess you can say, reach out to you all, if someone wanted to, let's first and foremost say, receive a copy of "Give Him the Praise" or the other two singles that's getting ready to be released, how would they go about that? How could they make these these songs be a part of their archives?
They can go to our website, www.ladiesofesther.com, and you can download it from there. Our music is also available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere that you can find music on your outlets, or you can also, like I said, go to our website and purchase a CD through there. You can also find us on Facebook at our Facebook page is Esther. Instagram is at Ladies of Esther, as well as Twitter is at Ladies of Esther.
What you know, GMAP Broadcast Network is in the lower left-hand corner of all that. You know that, right? Y'all gonna stop forget. You are gonna stop forgetting about little old us, because if you don't know, now you know. Esther is also a part of the GMAP Broadcast Network Gospel Artist Spotlight roster. I know many of you have been chimed in. And who did that?
Yes.
Who did that? Who did that? Who did that?
Yay!
Yeah, who was that? Who was that right there?
Jill.
For me.
Oh, don't! Oh my!
That was Joy. Wasn't that Joy?
Yep.
No.
Me.
It was Tamika.
I said yay.
Hey, well, you know what? You have just became my best friend. I love you, sister. I love you. She was the only one. She was the only one respond. She was like, "Yay!" It wasn't a real excited yay, but it was close enough. Yay is yay.
Yeah.
But for those that don't know, now you know. Esther's also a part of the GMAP Broadcast Network Gospel Artist Spotlight. I know many of you have chimed in throughout the week, and you have heard me talk about this group. You have heard me talk about this ministry. You have heard me show them some love, playing their video like it is going out of style. Also, we have their information posted on our broadcast network site, gmap1.com. You can stop by. If you click on the Esther picture that I love so much, I tell you what, me and Jill was going through it about this picture. I said, but I love that picture. I love that picture. I love that picture. And that is the one that we have posted up on the GMAP Broadcast Network site with a small bio. You click that picture, it'll take you directly to their website. And, of course, if you want to find out some intimate details about this awesome group, all you have to do is simply stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network site, click on the picture, and, of course, it will take you where you want to be. Also, you can stop by the website if you want to get a copy and or find out how you can get a copy of the current hit, Give Him the Praise, and the hits that are yet to come. We're honored, we're privileged, we're blessed, and we're grateful to this awesome music ministry for stopping by today, being our guest here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We have some great opportunities in store for you. As a matter of fact, your song is going to be played on Gospel Radio 1390 up in Chicago, from what I understand, and that is a true blessing. And I'm understanding that it's also going to be played on a radio station out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Praise God for that. So we are doing everything in our power to expose you. We hope and pray that you guys will continue to listen to the voice of God and continue to do His will, to do His works, and more importantly, do it His way. I'm going to shoot this question at Tramika, you're first. Okay? And I'm going to pose this same question to all three of you before I let you go. So, Jill, you got it lucky. You got it made. I don't want to say luck, but you got it made because you're going to be the final one to answer this question. But, Tramika, if my lovely wife, and she is my lovely wife, were to be at the podium and you are in an auditorium, I want to say an auditorium like a Joel Osteen combined with the T.D. Jakes type auditorium. Okay?
All right.
It's a megatorium, all right, if that's a word. We just, all right, I just made that one up, but it sounded good. All right, so we're in the megatorium, and my lovely wife has the honor of inviting you up to the podium. Now, in that megatorium, there is 30,000 seats filled with young ladies. My wife has just done the honor of inviting you up to the podium. What would you say to them?
Oh boy, this is exciting. Lord Jesus. Well, listen, you know, you gotta make it a slam dunk. So let's see, what would I say? First of all, my goal in life is to make Jesus more famous than He already is. If that's the platform that He's giving me, then mine is I want to introduce them to Jesus and introduce them to the reality that not only did He come for them, but He came for them to be the best them that they could be. That they, just like Esther, they are called for a season such as this, that they have purpose, that there's a destiny connected to their lives, that they need to tap into the well so that they can see who God has really created them to be on the inside. And the best way to know who you've been created to be is to get in touch with your Maker and let Him mold you and let Him show you the real definition of who you are. It's all about identity. It's about knowing who Jesus is, but knowing who Jesus is in you. That's what I would do. I would introduce them to that.
Man. Whew. In this megatorium, there's 30,000 seats filled with young ladies. Joy! What would you say to them?
Well, Shamika is not fair because she's so kind of part of mine. One of my goals in life is to motivate, inspire, and encourage, especially young ladies. I was someone who grew up dealing with self-confidence and image issues, which comes with dealing with identity and not knowing who you are and not knowing who you are in God. So my role in that moment, I would tell them, find your purpose and find God within your purpose. Because he's everything that you're looking for. Everything that you do will always be because of him and inspired by him, and to understand that they are loved no matter what they've been through, no matter what they've done, no matter the things that they've said, no matter what it is, that God is always going to love on them, and that they are loved and that I love them because he first loved me. And I would tell them that they're beautiful. I would tell them that they're amazing. I would tell them that they are strong. I would tell them that they're brave, that they're courageous, that they are confident, that they are everything because they are made in the image of God. And because God does not have a physical image, he is everything. He is sovereign. And to understand sovereignty and understand identity, to understand and tap into who Jesus is to them, he may not be the things that I've needed, but he is that thing for you. That missing piece, that missing puzzle in your life. It isn't about finding it in a man. It isn't about finding it in a job. It isn't about finding it in anything other than replacing it with the love of Jesus. And that is what I would tell them, to be strong, be courageous, and know that they are loved.
My God, yes. Whew. I know, Jill, I know it's going to be tough now. Because, they done broke some stuff down, and I'm loving it because, I always tell people, for all I trust him. And, many people will say certain things about Christ. They will holler in the church, I'm a Christian, I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. But you let somebody call and ask them for some money, and they got it, and they can help. But they will lie and say it ain't happening. I'm just saying, it's happened to me, I'm grateful. Jill, I want you to contemplate before you answer this question because I'm grateful. I know for a few reasons why this ministry has taken flight. Number one, when I began operating this ministry, I was operating in the red. Now I'm operating in the negative. That's one. Number two, I'll die for what I do. If God decides to call me home today based on what I've done with this ministry and what he has allowed me to do, I'll die for it. Period. Case closed. Okay? And the third one is really, I guess you can say, super important. When my family was homeless and we had nowhere to go, we were sleeping in a hotel or sleeping in a van, I told my wife, I got to get a job. I can't continue to do what I'm doing. It's mandatory. She told me, and I quote, not if you have to let the ministry go. Think about what I said.
Come on.
She said, God gave us something. He gave you something specifically. If it is going to require you to let the ministry go that God has given you, now, divorce is not an option in my house.
Not right now.
Yeah.
But if you let that ministry go, we might have to reconsider.
Wait a minute.
That's what my wife told me. So that's important to me. And I hold on to that. And Jill, I know this is going to be a tough question following these two young ladies, but if you were to step up to that podium and you have to speak to those 30,000 young ladies in that megatorium, what would you say to them?
Come on, Kim.
I would say, don't give up. That's all I would say. I would say, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on God. Don't give up on the visions God is giving you. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on the situation that you might be in that you don't think you can get out, but you can get out, don't give up. I would say don't give up.
Amen.
Don't give up.
For
Definitely
all,
don't give up. So,
for all of you, I just can't thank you enough. For all, for all, I trust him. You know, a lot of times we have trouble embracing God's purpose in our life. And I believe that you three young ladies I believe that you have found your purpose. I believe that you have found your direction. Now, mind you, your destiny was determined before your delivery. I want you to know that. Your destiny was determined before your delivery. So this is not a coincidence. This is not by happenstance. Your destiny was determined before your delivery. Embrace it and continue to do what God has simply blessed you to do. I believe that you all will be very encouraging, very motivating and inspiring and inspirational to people around the world if you just keep doing what you're doing. And I thank God that he allowed you guys to be here with us today. I'm looking forward to some awesome things in the very near future. Again, congratulations for being a part of our Gospel Artist Spotlight roster. Congratulations for being aired.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Hey, I got you on that one. I heard that. And congratulations for being aired on these two radio stations in Chicagoland and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And there's a few more things that we're just honored to have you all. Now, for those that don't know, we're the only network that is actually broadcasting live on 11 platforms simultaneously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are broadcast. We're the only network that we are doing Facebook Live 24 hours a day. We're doing Twitter 24 hours a day. We're doing Periscope 24 hours a day. GMAP Broadcast Network, Jenico Faith TV, and so many more. We just thank God for all of you who are chimed in, viewing and listening to this awesome broadcast, this awesome ministry, and embracing these three young ladies as they continue to do the work of the Lord. I can't thank you guys enough. We appreciate you stopping by on today. We hope and pray that you'll continue to be blessed and continue to be a blessing to others, okay?
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
God bless you all. Keep doing what you're doing, and we shall be talking to you all again very, very soon, okay?
Thank you. We will.
All right. You guys take care.
Be blessed. Bye.
All we need is love, love. 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 That's my song, y'all.
Girl, me too. You know what? I think that song kind of helped us get on the map a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Mommy, I like that other song that you guys did.
What song is that?
Give him the praise.
Oh! You know, we should go do that. We should do that. We should. Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together and warmly receive Esther singing Give 'Em the Praise.
Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
You know, I just can't say enough about them, Esther. And, of course, they were our special guest here on this morning, here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. That's GMAP, the number 1.com. We thank God for the presence of them, and we thank God for the presence of each and every one of you.